My name is Rainey from the American School of Hypnosis, and tonight's broadcast we're going to be doing questions and answers, basically hypnosis related questions and answers. I asked for questions yesterday in an email I sent out to quite a few people, and we got a good response. And so we're going to go over those. Oh, Deborah from Florida, we got Deborah in here. So let's go ahead and get started. And to start, as you know, I like to start usually with a joke or a story or something. So let's tell a story about the terrible golfer. Okay, there was this terrible golfer once. He was out golfing on the course, and as he golfed, his ball landed right on the top of this anthill. Now the anthill was full of ants. Ants were scurrying around everywhere, and the ball landed right on top. And as you know, with golf, you got to play the ball where it lands. So this golfer went up to the hole, looks at the ball, wound up, and he swung, and he missed the ball. The ball landed right back on the top of the hill, but he wiped out half of the ants. Now the ants are going crazy, the ones that are left, and so they don't know what to do. They're running around, half of them are wiped out, and the golfer swings again, getting ready, and he swings, and he missed the ball again. And the ball, of course, lands right on the top of the hill, but this time he wiped out all of the ants except for two. Just two ants looking at each other. He goes to wind up again, and one ant looked at the other and says, "Brother, if we're going to save ourselves, we better get on the ball." Okay? And that's what we're going to talk a little bit about tonight, is getting on the ball, answering these questions to help you folks get on the ball so you can do better in your businesses, so you can understand hypnosis better to be able to help your clients. And if you're not already a practitioner, to be able to understand hypnosis a little better so you can help yourself. But the key is, knowledge is great, but you need to get on the ball and do something. Action is what it takes to move forward. Now, he said, as recently I've encountered a lot of resistance with neurologists and doctors in general. I actually had a doctor this week tell a prospective client that was looking for help with test anxiety that hypnosis doesn't work and you're wasting your money. That's terrible to hear. When I approached the doctor, he and his partners completely shut down to hypnosis and even refused to discuss anything about it. So maybe in the weeks to come, you can have a chat with this issue, because I'm sure others have the same issue, and so we can move on without losing any income. So that's interesting. Now, thinking about that with doctors, okay, you don't see that a lot anymore, but when I first began in hypnosis back in the late 90s, okay, that was quite common. Most of the medical and mental health practices, the hypnosis wasn't really as well accepted as it is now. So it was a lot more difficult then. But now you see hypnosis in hospitals. You see it, matter of fact, Lady Clinic, I believe, had just voted in recently. So it's being accepted quite a bit. When I first started, even with the school, we very seldom trained any medical or mental health practitioners. Now, over the last few years, it probably seems to be about 3/4 of our clientele is medical and mental health practitioners. So why do they still seem to be so shut down about it? In order to answer that, you need to go back to the Western medical, I guess you could say Western medicine's outlook on healing. Okay, so basically their motto, Western medicine, is to treat the symptom. Think of that, is to treat the symptom. Years ago, to look at the history of Western medicine, okay, in the early 1900s, there was a big changeover with Western medicine. It was kind of looked at as a like a podunk type, I guess you could say, almost like not really a reputable venue. Okay, back then it was mostly holistics, and of course hypnosis has been around way before then. I mean, back as early as someone was able to bang a drum and get agitated before battle, hypnosis was being used. So hypnosis really is an alternative. Hypnosis has been around for a long time. But anyways, for those of you that know a little bit about the history, the Carnegies and the Vanderbilts and a lot of rich people basically pooled their money together, and what they were trying to do was make modern medicine something big. So basically they put it on the map by buying some of the top-ranked medical schools back then, and they said they put millions of dollars into these schools, and they said, if you want our money, you're going to teach it our way. And the way we're going to teach it is by treating the symptom rather than the client. Why? Treating the symptom, if you think of it, is a very sound practice financially. It's a very good money maker. So what they did was, their motto was to treat the symptom. Their motto was to use, what's the word I'm looking for? Pharmaceuticals, but synthetic pharmaceuticals. Okay, so they were very big on that. So they really pushed the pharmaceuticals, synthetic pharmaceuticals in the colleges. Okay, and another thing they were really big on was chemotherapy. And a lot of people don't realize why chemotherapy is still so big today, even though it's used a lot, but I haven't really seen it ever heal anybody, okay? But it's because a lot of the doctors back then had a lot of money invested in the radium mine, so they wanted that to be increased as well. Okay, now this is history you can find pretty much anywhere online. So anyone who didn't follow that venue, okay, with treating the symptom and pharmaceuticals and all that, was eventually pushed out. A lot of colleges that wouldn't follow went under. A lot of different medical practices, they were eventually looked at as, I guess you could say, primitive, okay, kind of like modern Western medicine was. And Western medicine was born, and it kept on going bigger and bigger and bigger. Think about treating the symptom. Let's say you have back pain because you're sitting up front of the computer like me all day, and all you do is keep on typing. Go to see a doctor, he gives you a pill for the back pain, maybe a muscle relaxant. Your back continues to hurt because you're still up front of the computer. So you go back and see him, and he gives you some painkillers. Okay, so there's some more money because these pills, they charge a lot. Okay, you're still in pain, you go see him again, he might give you a back brace. You might have to eventually go in traction or maybe even have an operation. So treating the symptom gets more and more and more expensive. You see, so it's a very sound medical practice. Now, with hypnosis, okay, what are you doing? With hypnosis, you're dealing with the subconscious mind. With most modern medicine or Western medicine, you're dealing with the conscious mind. Okay, when I'm talking about Western medicine, I'm also talking about a lot of mental health practices also. You're dealing with the conscious mind. The conscious mind, remember, is naturally rebellious, and as a creature of habit wants to stay the same. So when you're dealing with the conscious mind, which always wants to stay the same, okay, you're fighting an uphill battle. When you're dealing with the subconscious mind, you're dealing with a receptive mind. I've had many psychiatrists who have left training, and before they left training, they said, wow, with hypnosis, we finally have a receptive audience. Rather than dealing with the conscious, rebellious mind and fighting everything away, now we have a receptive audience and we can help people. And I'd ask them, I'd say, so are you going to use it with everybody? Oh, no. That would make us lose a lot of clients. Think of that. Now, I have some statistics here, which you've probably seen before. Basically, it talks about, and this is basically some statistics that were in Psychotherapy magazine. It says after 600 sessions of psychotherapy, there was a mere 38% success rate. Okay, so this is with psychotherapy. 600 sessions of psychotherapy for 38% success. 22 sessions of behavioral therapy for 72% success. And with hypnotherapy, it was 6 sessions for 93% success. So think of that. This practitioner who's used to getting 600 sessions out of a client uses hypnosis, and now he's only getting 6 sessions because they're cured and moving on. He could be losing a lot of money, okay? So to me, that's one of the biggest reasons why they're not using hypnosis, and they don't believe in hypnosis, or say they don't believe in it, because they know that it is an avenue that will really help people because of the subconscious mind. And number one, it's not cost effective for them. They're going to lose a lot of money, okay? And number two, it's not really being taught. I believe in colleges, for medical schools, they have like a hypnosis 101 that teaches them only the relaxation technique. So only basically non-analytical people. All the analytical people, they don't know what to do with them. I see that in training all the time because they don't teach that in the medical schools. They just teach them non-analytical. So it's something that they're not comfortable with. They didn't spend much time with it. And most medical practitioners, they want to look really good at what they do. If they don't understand it, they're not going to do it. So they push it off as like an alternative type thing. It's not going to make them money, so why should they push that? So keep that in mind. Now remember, pharmaceuticals is a big part of the medical industry. Okay, so you go to the hospital, there's the big money there, there's the big money in pharmaceuticals, and if you go to Capitol Hill, most of the lobbyists there are pharmaceutical lobbyists, so there's a lot of money being going on around that. So you don't fight with those doctors. Okay, there's not really much you can do about that if they refuse it, but eventually they're going to go the way of the dinosaur. More and more doctors and hospitals are opening up to it, so these ones that are really closed-minded are going to eventually, I guess you could say, just go away by attrition. Okay, so keep your chin up. It's going to get better. All you can do is continue to educate your clients and educate as many people as you can about this, and you should be able to do a good job with it. Okay, let's see. The next one. When doing street hypnosis, is it necessary to do a pre-talk? And those shown on the computer, the ones on the computer don't seem to tie in any time for precautions or a pre-talk. It doesn't seem possible that you could just walk up to someone unknown and ask them to sleep. And if they did, would they follow the directions? Norm. Well, Norm, that's interesting. I hear that quite a bit. Remember, the street hypnosis that you see online, okay, it's online. You're seeing online videos. Those videos are edited before you put them on there. If you punch in my name, Rainey Bastarash, or American School of Hypnosis, comedy hypnosis, you'll see a whole mess of comedy hypnosis videos that I've done. Yeah, they're on YouTube. Don't you know, don't tell anybody about it. But there's some good stuff out there. However, when I made videos out of them and put them online, I did a lot of editing. You cut out all the pre-talk. So, yeah, if you walk up to somebody on the street and just go up to them and say, you know, go to shake their hand and yank on it, do an instant induction, go sleep, they're going to feel it because an instant induction works on anybody. No one's immune to it, but they're going to resist it, open their eyes, and they're going to probably punch you in the nose. Okay, you just can't do that. So with these, what they call street hypnotists, okay, what they're doing is either them or their crew or whoever's managing this are speaking to the people in the dance. They're pre-testing them. They're using the people that are the most non-analytical, and then they're walking up like they're just doing it initially on the street. That's what most of them are doing. Yes, some of them might just be doing it, but they might do, let's say, 20 of them before they get maybe 2 that worked out well. And those 2 they're going to videotape. It'd be interesting if they videotape all the ones that didn't work out, all the bloopers, okay? Then you see what's really going on. It's the same as a comedy hypnosis show. If you've seen a comedy hypnosis show, okay, when we first get there, we actually test everybody in the audience. We do the finger test and the arm rising and falling test, what they call suggestibility tests. And the ones that respond the best, we choose them to come on stage, because with comedy or street hypnosis, the more non-analytical you are, the better you're going to respond. You're going to have a great... You never want to do that with an analytical group, because it's just not going to work. You're going to tell them to dance the ballet, and they're going to go, I don't want to. Very non-analytical person, they're going to dance, and they're going to do a great job. Okay, so that's the difference. So yes, there is pre-talk, or they're really screening out all the ones that don't work. So if you're thinking of going down the street and just hypnotizing people at random, don't. You're probably going to end up in a police station somewhere, okay, for harassment. All right. The third one. Is 1 hour under hypnosis really like 7 to 8 hours of nighttime rest? That's an interesting question. We teach this quite often in our courses. Actually, every 15 minutes of hypnosis is equal to about 4 hours of sleep. So figure out the math. 15 is 4, so half an hour would be 8, so an hour would be closer to 16 hours of sleep. Not suggested to do it. I've actually gone a week without sleeping, hypnotizing myself a half hour every night. Actually 5 days I did it, because I had a lot of work to do that week. And I was very good still on the 5th day, just with a half an hour of sleep. However, come the 5th day, you know, 3 in the morning, I was getting pretty bored. Okay, now what can I do? There's no one I can call. There's nothing going on. You know, you don't want to call your coworkers and say, hey, guess what I just thought of at 3 in the morning? They're going to hang up on you. So get the sleep you need, but if you find yourself really tired during the daytime, do a half hour or 15-minute session, and you're going to find yourself really refreshed. Just like when we do sessions and we give people a 15-minute follow-up CD. Matter of fact, that same 15-minute CD you're getting in the healing course, there's another plug for that healing course, okay? Listening to that, we tell them to listen to it for at least 30 days because repetition basically creates change, creates habits. And we tell them to do it first thing in the morning if they can. That's probably the best time because it's like having 4 hours of sleep just from doing that. So it helps you to start out your day feeling great. It's a really good pick-me-up, okay? Let's see. Let's go back. This one here's a little longer, so I'm going to take you back over to the sheet over here. Good morning. I've been trying to learn about self-hypnosis, and does your program teach that? Yes, our program does teach self-hypnosis. It actually shows you about 6 or 7 different ways of doing it, in fact. My main question to you is, I'm separated and inevitably this will end in a divorce of 22 years, after 22 years. Anyway, my husband had an affair. We don't want to get too personal on that. But the reason I'm telling you this is to have you understand how depressed and am aware of all the, you're aware of all the lousy emotions I'm going through. With that said, is it possible to get past this rut using self-hypnosis? Can it help me get past this state of paralysis I've been going through since January? And she goes on, I find all your information very interesting, and the thought of starting my own business really appeals to me. However, I need to help myself before I can help others. Your reply would be greatly appreciated. And I put signed anonymous. How's that sound? Okay. Now that's interesting. That's something as a practitioner you're going to see quite often in the field. So to answer your question, I'm going to give you an example of a client that I had. Okay, it was a gentleman who had been married about 35 years. Okay, older gentleman, really neat guy. I actually enjoyed talking to him a lot. But he come home. He thought he had a wonderful relationship with his wife. Had no clue anything was going on. Went to work one day. Come home from work. And there was a note on the table saying, I'm leaving you, I'm no longer happy, I found somebody else, and the somebody else she found was another woman rather than another man. Now that was a double whammy for him because he felt, gee, it's not even another man, I can't even compete. She found another woman. Now he was devastated, he was crushed, he was having difficulty functioning. He was almost beginning to be a stalker because he was always trying to find out where she was going and what she was doing next because he was trying to, fix it. So he didn't know what to do. He says, I don't know how I can go on without her. And they also had a child involved, an adult child, and who was also just as confused. Now, when he came to see me, the interesting thing was he wanted me to help him forget the relationship. Can you help me forget the relationship? And a lot of people have asked me to do that. You can't help somebody to forget it because anytime you cause amnesia, what happens? Amnesia, by forgetting something, you're basically, you can't eliminate a memory. You can make it hide in the theta brainwave state, and that's where your traumatic memories are, kind of like military people suffering PTSD. Where is the PTSD memory? It's in the amnesia state, which is what we call the theta brainwave state. But if you notice, whenever these military people who have PTSD close their eyes and relax, or take a nap, or go to bed, they immediately go into the theta brainwave state, and bam, that's when they have their attacks. Okay, that's when everything hits them, the horror of what happened. So if we made him forget, or made you forget this relationship, it would always be there, okay, when you relax. And also, whenever you go by a restaurant or someplace you've been, you say, why do I know that place? So that isn't the best thing to do. What I did with this gentleman is, well, first of all, hypnosis will help, okay? Time does heal everything, believe it or not. It's hard to see that in your situation now, but time does heal. But he was so used to, his life was basically defined by his mate, okay? Everything he did with her. So he didn't have a separate identity. So what he needed was the confidence to move on. So with all the different hypnosis I was giving him for different things that he's come to see me for, I always gave him what I call a double dose of confidence, okay? Because his self-image was very much lacking. So I gave him a lot of confidence to move on. And eventually what happened, as the weeks went on, I think it was like week 3 and 4, he was starting to get so much confidence that he actually met a woman at work, and they started seeing each other. And as soon as he started getting the confidence saying, hey, I'm worthwhile, it's not about me, I feel great, then things started to dissipate and he started to feel a lot better. So you're not going to forget. He didn't forget with amnesia, but he was able to deal with it, especially since he had to continue dealing with this woman because of his child later on. So that's one thing is, hypnosis or self-hypnosis for confidence would be really good. Another thing you could do, if you have our hypnosis manual, and if you don't have it, go to my main webpage at choosehypnosis.com. Okay, you'll find that all over the different places, and download our free manual. In the advanced section, okay, it's called The Next Generation in Hypnosis. I don't remember offhand what chapter it is. There's 5 sessions in there. Go to session number 5. Oops, number 5, I'm sorry. Okay, so number 5, the follow-up session, which is the same one in the health one, by the way. But number 5, the follow-up session, read it on a tape recorder and play it for yourself. Basically what it is, it's called the theater of the imagination. Play that to yourself, for yourself, every morning for at least a month, 30 days, because that's what it takes to change. Now, basically what it's going to do, it's going to have you sit down, bring you into hypnosis very quickly. It's a short session, only 10-15 minutes. And it's going to have you imagine yourself as the goal you. What do you want? Okay, now I know, get away from the relationship. You know that's over. You've already said that. So moving forward, how would you like to see yourself? Do you want to see yourself happy? Happy by yourself? Happy in another relationship? Happy with children? With your children, whatever it is. Imagine yourself as the goal you. And again, it talks you. It's a guided visualization, basically. So imagine yourself as the goal you, and once you get that picture the first time, whatever it is that you want, not what you don't want, what you do want, very important. And if you have difficulty figuring it out, go to our lessons we did. The last 3 lessons there on goal planning, right here on Ustream, they're pre-recorded, and it breaks it down perfectly how to do that. What do you want? Get that goal you, and continue listening to it, and basically, even though you don't feel it, continue to do it. Remember the saying, to be blank, act blank. To be happy, act happy. To be independent, act independent. To be strong, act strong. Even though you don't feel it, if you act it, it will eventually happen, okay? Basically, I'm not, this isn't wishful thinking. This is actually science. It's how the mind works. It's how you became programmed. Every program that you have right now, the way you are, everything about you was programmed that way through repetition. From riding a bike, walking, brushing your teeth, driving your car, it was all through programming. And through programming, it became part of you, a subconscious automated habit. So that's what I would suggest you to do. Record it, listen to it, look and put down. We also have it recorded, so you might want to write her a letter. You can write it through my email at the bottom of the page, and she'll explain more about that if you want. Listen to the recording, and every once in a while, record some suggestions about confidence. You're a confident person. You're good on your own. You're happy. Those kind of suggestions will make a big difference. So our well wishes go out to you. I'm sure everybody listening, you have a lot of well wishes going out to you right now. Okay, and good luck. Let's see what else we got over here. I've been practicing hypnosis with my, oops, I have that up there so you can all see it. I've been practicing hypnosis with my graceful and allowing wife for a few weeks. Good. We take turns on inductions, deepening, suggestions, and awakening each other. Fun and inspiring, to say the least. I also have been doing a lot of self-hypnosis for 3 years with huge life-changing results that astound people I have known for my whole life. It sure has allowed us to love with more wholesomeness and connectedness. We appreciate hypnosis deeply and intend on allowing this natural ability to continue to unfold in magical ways for the wellness of all. My question is about too much hypnosis. Is there such a thing as too much hypnosis? We practice nightly with wonderful results and experience. However, being greenhorns, we wonder if practicing daily is okay. My instinct says it feels good, so we go with the flow. What's your professional opinion on this matter? Let's see. Oh, it's a thank you with tremendous appreciation and awe. My wife and I are planning on visiting our favorite place in the country, Salem, Mass, next spring. And we'll sure be setting up appointments with you. Thank you for all you are, Bill. See you tonight. So Bill, are you here? If you're here, go ahead and chat in, sound in. I want to see if you're here or not. Okay. All right. Well, Bill, here I am. Bill, the first thing I have to say to you, I'm sorry, but I'm not in Salem, Mass anymore, okay? We're in Biddeford, Maine. So if you go to Salem, Mass, okay, we're 2 hours north. Just follow the coast, okay? We were in Salem for actually about a year and a half. A beautiful place. But going to answer your question, is there such a thing as too much hypnosis? Nah. What is hypnosis? Hypnosis, the two definitions I use is hypnosis, number one, is being open to suggestion. So if you're listening to what I'm saying right now, everyone, and you're accepting it without going la 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 la, okay, if you're listening and understanding, according to the definition, you are all in hypnosis. Give me your wallet. Okay, I'm kidding, not that kind of hypnosis, but you're open to suggestion, okay, and that's the definition of hypnosis. The other definition of hypnosis is using your imagination. If you can imagine it, you can believe it. So is there such a thing as accepting and using your imagination, or being open to suggestion and using your imagination is too much? No. If you think of it, the majority of your day, from when you get up to when you go to bed, you're open to some form of suggestion. So you're in a hypnotic state most of your day. Okay? About 90% of all the thoughts you have come from your past programming. So you're doing an automated hypnotic programming. Most people, Luke and I were listening to an audio today. It was kind of funny. The guy says, you know, only 1% of the public really thinks. 2% of the public thinks that they think. And 98% of the public doesn't think at all. I mean, you had to hear the connotation, but it's kind of funny, but because we all have this automated type behavior. Most people live from their past. You tell them to do something, all of a sudden it relates to something from their past, okay? So you're in a form of hypnosis. You're going down the street, you see a Dunkin' Donuts and you see a Starbucks, but you pull into one and not the other. Why? What's that hypnotic suggestion that got through to you? Maybe the branding from advertisements. You go into a store. Here's one of my favorite ones: to buy 10 items in a grocery store. You can see I have a hard time with the math, huh? I studied math only 3 times. Okay, so you want 10 items in a grocery store. You go in, you have a list, but you walk out with 30. What's up there? Okay, that's hypnosis. You had the suggestion, especially if you go into one of those warehouse grocery stores like Sam's, BJ's, or Costco, and they're doing all that sampling everywhere. Oh gosh, you're going to come home with a bunch of junk you didn't want, you know. Oh, that smells good, and you buy it and you find out you don't even have an oven to cook it, okay. Suggestion. You're in suggestion all the time. When you go to school, when you go to church, when you go to sales seminars, okay. How do they get their point across to you? Through suggestion. So there's many ways of doing that, you know, to talk about in another class. So there's no such thing as too much hypnosis, okay? You're not going to get a hypnosis dysfunction, okay? You're just going to actually get better and better. So kudos to you. Keep it up. All right, the next one. How are we doing with time here? Okay, we'll get time for about another one. And you know what we'll do? I think we'll have another question and answer segment that we'll do another time, and we could finish off some of these. This one here, it says, where is he? Oh, I like this one. Okay. I got questions out the yazoo, he says. How the wazoo. I know a lot about the subject of hypnosis, and I've hypnotized people. I have hypnotized a couple people, or so I think. I've tried self-hypnosis. Let me move this over so I can see it easier. I tried self-hypnosis, but I never see an outcome. I want to better myself in so many ways. So is there any convinces I can do in self-hypnosis? I've also read Norb Baca's book on strange phenomena using hypnosis, and I'm totally blown away by it. From reading that book, I also have questions. What is the deepest state right now? What is the safest way to practice hypnosis without getting into trouble with local authorities? I'm curious what you mean by that. Oh yes, and how can a person achieve enough confidence to get out and use hypnosis? I mean, what would be a good oomph to get them going? Do you have any clubs in Harrisburg area, in Pennsylvania, of course? Well, let's go ahead and answer these. Let me start with Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Actually, if you go on our listing on our main webpage, right in the top bar, you're going to see Find a Practitioner Near You. We have a wonderful instructor Okay, his name is Jamie, and his office is in Harrisburg. Okay, if that's what you mean by clubs, by offices, he's a practitioner as well as an instructor. Which gives you the answer to another question you have. What's the safest way to do hypnosis without getting in trouble, and how can you get the umph? Becoming certified to be a hypnosis practitioner, it's his job or my job or whoever's job's training you to make sure you know what you do when you graduate, okay? You come to my school, it's my name I'm putting on you. When you leave, you will know how to do hypnosis, okay? Because I want to make sure that you're successful, because your success is our success. So you're going to practice in class until you're confident. When you leave, you're going to know what you're doing. The very first client you do, they're going to think you've been doing it for years, okay? So that's going to be the umph. That's going to get you comfortable, and that's going to hopefully keep you out of trouble with local authorities, okay? You want to work within your realm of practice. Don't do anything illegal, all right? What makes somebody good with hypnosis is practice. The more you practice, the better you're going to get. Once you've done, you're practicing in the office, you know, when you do your training, you're going to feel very confident after having done that. The hardest people you'll ever hypnotize are going to be fellow students, family, and friends while practicing. Your first client, after doing family, friends, and peers, your first client's going to be a piece of cake, because they're looking at you as the authority, and you know a lot more than them about hypnosis than they do, you know? It's like when you're in the office and you're hypnotizing someone, and, you know, Luca and I are watching you. We know a lot more about hypnosis, so you're afraid, you're nervous. Are they going to critique me? Am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? Is my voice okay? So that makes you nervous. But with a client, hey, you're in charge. You are confident. You know what you're doing. You know so much more than them that you're the authority. And it's going to feel very easy. You're going to say, wow, I feel like I've been doing this all my life. Okay? Let's see if I covered everything. Oops, I've also, let's see, what's the deepest state right now? Well, how deep can you go in hypnosis? Well, if you're familiar with the brainwave states, we teach a lot about that in our course, all the different brainwave states. Probably the deepest brainwave states, well, you have alpha. Well, right now we're in beta. You relax a little bit, you go into alpha with hypnosis. Then you go into theta. Theta is the dreaming state. Then you go into delta. Delta is what we call the universal consciousness, the dreamless, motionless sleep, where your body heals a minimum of 3 times faster, okay? Now, that's about the deepest you need to take somebody for maybe healing or for, you know, some major issues, which most things are better done in the lighter states, actually, except for healing and stuff like that. But there is a level even deeper called epsilon, which you can attain with hypnosis, but there's really no reason for it. Epsilon is so very relaxed. I think your brainwave states is 0.025 cycles per second. That's very slow brainwave states. That's where the yogis take themselves, where they have no visible respiration or heartbeat, you know. It's also known as the coma state. So when you go into a hospital and people are in coma, they're actually in the epsilon state. Coma is basically all the unnecessary parts of the body shut down, because the body is so it's bad off that it needs everything for healing. I mean, it doesn't need to work on fingernails and hair growth. It needs to heal. So that's basically an epsilon. So that's the deepest you can go, but like I said, there's really no reason to take somebody there clinically, okay? Everything can be done, most things are done in alpha and theta. Let's see, and I think there was one other question you had at the beginning. Oh, you said, I've tried hypnosis, but I've never had any outcome. You know, that might not be so. Most people that say that to me, it's because of the misconception of what they think hypnosis is. I'll do a session and people come out and say, I heard everything you said, or I didn't go to sleep, or they think it has to be this altered state where you don't hear me. Well, in most cases, if you don't hear me, it's because you were either really too deep or you fell asleep, okay? If you heard me, that's fine. All hypnosis is being open to suggestion. My job is to get the suggestion past your conscious mind into your subconscious. It's not to make you not hear me, okay? I can get suggestions past your conscious mind, you know, many different ways, you know, without putting you out or in an altered state, okay? Matter of fact, here's a good thing right here. Even though I can't see you, do what I say right now. Okay, go like this with your hand, okay? Make a little circle. Everybody doing it? Go ahead and do it. Make a circle, okay? This is honor system. And I want you to put it on your chin, okay? Okay, your chin is down here. That's your cheek. Why do you do that? again, suggestibility. You were doing what I was doing rather than what I was saying. See, I was able to get things right past you. I could have gone like this and said, okay, give me your wallet. Okay, that suggestion would have gone right past you and you would have done this. So it's very easy to get suggestions, okay? If you can imagine something over and over, you're hypnotizing yourself. So don't think that it didn't work because I wasn't in this altered state and because you're not acting like a zombie. There's no such thing as a zombie in hypnosis. Again, if you're curious about that and want to know more about hypnosis, we have a 446-page hypnosis manual that you can download free right from our main webpage, okay? And with that, that's about all the time we have for questions tonight. So I'd like to thank everybody for all the questions they gave us. I really appreciate that. I'd like to thank you all for coming, and keep on sending in questions and let me know what you thought of the show. And if you would email us or go on my YouTube site and actually click like on the video, because this will be on video tomorrow morning or maybe later on tonight. And give us some comments of what you'd like to see, what you think of the show, if you'd like to see us continue to do some question and answer ones in future shows. But we'll go ahead and finish this off next week. So thank you for coming and have a great night.